I'm Cameron, and I spent my childhood living in the shadow of my older sister Lily. Our house was a constant hub of activity, overflowing with relatives, aunts, uncles, cousins, drawn to my mom's legendary barbecue and, more importantly, Lily's performances. Our backyard was her stage, the manicured lawn and large oak tree providing the perfect backdrop. Dad manned the grill, the aroma of charring meat permeating the air, while Mom ensured everyone had a drink. Invariably, Aunt Marge's voice would ring out, requesting a song from Lily. All eyes would shift to my sister, who would perch on a chair, golden curls bouncing, a playful sparkle in her eyes. After a dramatic throat clearing, the magic would begin. A Celine Dion impersonation, perhaps, earning raucous applause and cheers from the adults as if they were at a concert. Mom and Dad would glow with pride, Dad often wiping away a tear. Meanwhile, I'd fade into the background, seeking refuge in the shrubbery. It wasn't that I didn't want to participate, but my singing voice resembled a strangled cat, and poetry recitals were even worse. Words became tangled on my tongue, leaving me blushing and stammering. The whispers from relatives about how different I was from Lily were constant, and my parents' favoritism was evident. Lily was chauffeured to dance, singing, and art lessons, while I was left to my own devices. I didn't mind, finding solace in the dusty books lining our shelves. My only ally was Great Aunt Maggie, who would discover me engrossed in a book, tucked away behind the garage or perched in the treehouse. She'd inquire about my current literary adventure, and I'd eagerly share, showing her the cover. Maggie's twinkling eyes and encouraging words were a balm to my soul. With her, I could simply be Cameron, the quiet, bookish girl who preferred the company of stories to the clamor of family gatherings. Despite these cherished moments, the sting of being overlooked lingered. Every achievement of Lily's, a new song mastered, an award won, resulted in a shower of gifts and praise. New clothes, gadgets, Lily received it all. I was left with hand-me-downs and a growing sense of resentment. School became my refuge. While not popular, I thrived academically. I wasn't passive. I actively sought understanding, questioning teachers after class, and requesting extra reading material. My backpack overflowed with books, and I'd stay up late studying, determined to excel. By high school, I was at the top of my class, finally excelling at something. I even made a few friends, fellow bookworms who appreciated my quiet nature. As graduation approached, our house became Lily Central. Mom constantly assisted with Lily's portfolio for a prestigious advertising and PR program. Their praise for her talent was endless, while I rolled my eyes and escaped to my room. One night, during another Lily-centric family dinner, I snapped. I announced my own college aspirations, intending to study management. The ensuing silence was deafening, followed by laughter. Mom, wiping away tears of mirth, informed me we couldn't afford it. I was told to get a job, lacking Lily's gifts. It felt like a physical blow, I argued, citing my academic achievements, the straight A's on my report card, which I retrieved and slammed onto the table. Their surprised expressions were a mixture of shock and disbelief. Dad, scratching his head, questioned when this had happened. I retorted that it had been happening for years, unnoticed by them. Mom, at least, looked ashamed. But Dad was resolute. He stated that all their savings were allocated to Lily's education, leaving nothing for me. He decreed that I would work at his cousin Frank's restaurant after graduation. I turned and fled, ignoring their calls, sprinting upstairs. I retreated to my room, slamming the door with enough force to rattle the walls. Collapsing onto my bed, sobs racked my body. But amidst the tears, a resolve hardened within me. I clenched my fists, thinking, fine, if they won't help me, I'll find another way. I'll show them what Cameron can do. The following months were a blur. Lily departed for college, her send-off filled with tearful farewells and proud parental embraces. In contrast, I immersed myself in my studies, driven by a renewed determination to graduate at the top of my class. Great Aunt Maggie's cozy house became my sanctuary, a refuge from the tension at home. One afternoon, as we enjoyed tea in her sunlit kitchen, she asked the question I'd been dreading. "So, Cameron, what are your plans after graduation?" I stared into my teacup, fighting back tears. I confessed my uncertainty, explaining that my parents refused to support my college aspirations, claiming they had depleted their savings on Lily's education. A moment of silence hung in the air before Maggie reached across the table, squeezing my hand. She offered me her savings for college, refusing to let my potential go to waste. Her generosity overwhelmed me, the sudden realization that my dreams were still attainable bringing a fresh wave of tears. I thanked her profusely, embracing her with heartfelt gratitude. The months passed quickly, and soon I was accepting my diploma, Aunt Maggie beaming at me from the audience. My parents were present too, a mixture of pride and discomfort evident on their faces. That evening, as I reviewed college brochures, Mom entered, her voice saccharine, informing me that Dad's cousin Frank had secured a waitressing position for me at his restaurant. I took a deep breath and informed her that I wouldn't need the job, as I was going to college. Dad appeared frowning, questioning how I intended to finance my education. Maggie was funding my tuition with her savings. The ensuing silence was almost comical, quickly replaced by Dad's furious outburst. He forbade it, insisting that Maggie's money should be reserved for Lily's future car. I was stunned by his selfishness. I argued, emphasizing my need for an education, but Mom interjected, claiming Lily needed the money more. My voice wavered, but I stood firm, asserting that the money was mine, and I would use it for college. The discussion was over. Life at home became unbearable. My parents oscillated between ignoring me and criticizing me over trivial matters. The constant tension was suffocating. After a particularly vicious argument, I called Aunt Maggie in tears, recounting the events. Without hesitation, she invited me to move in with her. The next day, I packed my belongings and left, watching my childhood home recede in the rearview mirror. Arriving at Aunt Maggie's, I felt an immense burden lift. Summer passed in a flurry of preparation, and soon I was on the campus of State University, enrolled in the management program I'd longed for, thanks to my academic record and Aunt Maggie's generosity. My first day of classes was exhilarating. As I sat in the introductory business lecture, absorbing every word, I couldn't help but think, I made it. I'm really here. Meanwhile, Lily began her senior year at her prestigious college. I had minimal contact with her and my parents since moving out, but I tried not to dwell on it, focusing on my newfound freedom and the excitement of college life. A month into the semester, Aunt Maggie called, her voice hesitant, advising me to sit down. My heart pounded as she relayed the family drama I'd missed. Lily had abruptly returned home, announcing she'd dropped out of college because she was pregnant. According to Aunt Maggie, Lily was nonchalant, claiming the baby's father was wealthy, and they would soon marry. However, the situation was more complicated. Lily's boyfriend wasn't as committed as she believed, and after discovering her infidelity, he ended the relationship. The paternity of the child was now in question. I sat stunned, trying to process the information. Part of me felt a perverse satisfaction at the golden child's downfall, but mostly I felt sadness for Lily and the predicament she'd created. The saga continued over the next few months. Aunt Maggie kept me updated on the gossip from family gatherings, which I no longer attended. When Lily's baby was born, a DNA test was conducted. Lily's confirmation of her boyfriend's paternity resulted not in a dream wedding, but in a child support agreement, shattering her romantic ideals. Adding insult to injury, Lily's desperate job search landed her a waitressing position at Uncle Frank's, the very establishment my parents had always pushed me towards. As I ended the call, a mix of emotions washed over me. A flicker of petty satisfaction tempted me to flaunt my success, but gratitude for my journey prevailed. Years blurred into a whirlwind of academic rigor, lectures, exams, and countless late-night study sessions. Suddenly, I found myself crossing the graduation stage, clutching my hard-earned management degree. Aunt Maggie's tearful, proud smile stood out amongst the crowd. My academic achievements and strong recommendations secured me a management role at the Gilded Fork, a prestigious city restaurant. The salary exceeded my wildest dreams, finally granting me a sense of true accomplishment. My first paycheck went towards a state-of-the-art smartphone for Aunt Maggie. Her delighted reaction was priceless as she examined the sleek device. "Oh, Cameron," she gasped. "This is too much." "Not at all," I grinned, pulling out my own phone. "Let me show you how to use it." Weeks were spent initiating Aunt Maggie into the world of social media. She embraced it enthusiastically, particularly Facebook's video function. Her page blossomed with clips of her garden, her feline companion, and her renowned apple pie in various stages of preparation. Watching her videos during lunch breaks, I'd always leave a comment or a like, maintaining our connection despite my demanding schedule. One day, amidst the dinner rush preparations, my phone buzzed with an unexpected call from my mother. Years of silence made her hesitant voice a surprise. "Cameron, we were hoping you might come over to talk." After a pause, I agreed to visit that Sunday. Standing on my childhood home's porch, hesitation gripped me. Before I could ring the doorbell, the door swung open, and my mother embraced me tightly. "Oh, sweetie, it's so good to see you." Inside, I found my father, Lily, and her young daughter. The atmosphere was tense, but lacked the anticipated hostility. "You look good, kiddo," my father said, his gruff tone tinged with warmth. "We hear you're doing well for yourself." I nodded cautiously. "I am. I'm a manager at the Gilded Fork now." Their surprised reactions to the restaurant's name were palpable. My mother cleared her throat. That's wonderful, dear. Actually, that's partly why we wanted to talk to you." Over the next hour, they apologized for their past dismissal of my aspirations, admitting their error. Then came the true purpose of the reunion. "Cameron," my mother began, glancing at Lily, we were wondering if you could help Lily get a job at your restaurant." I observed my sister, avoiding my gaze as she bounced her daughter on her knee. "I'll see what I can do," I finally responded. "No promises, but I'll ask." True to my word, I approached Mr. Reeves, the restaurant owner, about Lily. To my surprise, he agreed to give her a chance as an administrator. Lily began the following week, exceeding all expectations. She proved punctual, efficient, and charmed the customers. We gradually developed a cordial working relationship, though not quite a friendship. Just as I felt a sense of stability, Mr. Reeves presented me with an unexpected opportunity. Summoning me to his office, he offered me the chance to oversee the expansion of the business. Soon, I was juggling the opening of 3 new restaurants. The demanding yet exhilarating work brought everything I had ever desired. The accompanying pay raise led to a surplus of income, prompting calls from my parents. Initially, small requests for help with home repairs escalated into funding a complete renovation. Their improved financial situation, thanks to my monthly contributions, revived the infamous family parties. However, this time, the atmosphere was different. "Have you heard about Cameron's latest project?" my mother would boast. "She's opening a new restaurant downtown. We're so proud of her." Across the room, Lily would offer a small smile, her own success evident in her promotion to head administrator. Lily's competence at the Gilded Fork was a source of pride for our father. "My girls," he'd say, beaming, with an arm around each of us. Their approval, once so desperately craved, now felt strangely satisfying. Driving home that night, contentment washed over me. I had finally achieved professional success and earned my family's love and respect. I was the golden child, but more importantly, I was independent and self-sufficient. My newfound peace shattered one lazy Sunday afternoon. Scrolling through Facebook, A new video from Aunt Maggie caught my eye. It was from a recent family gathering I'd missed due to work. Expecting the usual jovial scenes, I clicked play. Instead, I was met with a chilling sight. My parents, intoxicated and self-righteous, on full display. And Cameron, that ungrateful little freeloader? My mother slurred, gesticulating wildly. She barely gives us anything. We're not made of money, you know. My father chimed in, his face flushed. That's right. We're doing just fine thanks to our Lily. She's the one keeping that fancy restaurant afloat. Cameron just rides on her coattails. The video continued with assenting relatives adding their own criticisms. Lily sat uncomfortably silent, offering no contradiction. Stunned, I replayed the video, their cruel and untrue words echoing in my mind. How could they, after all my financial support, repay my kindness with such venomous betrayal? Scrolling through the comments, I found a series of frantic messages from my parents demanding Aunt Maggie delete the video. Her response brought me to tears. I don't know how to delete videos, and even if I did, I wouldn't. It's time everyone saw the truth about how you treat Cameron. She's the one supporting you, and this is how you repay her kindness? Shame on you both. Hours passed in a blur of shock, anger, and grief. Finally, I called Aunt Maggie. "Oh, Cameron, dear," she answered sympathetically. "I take it you've seen the video." "Yeah," I choked out, my voice raw. "I can't believe it, Aunt Maggie." "How could they? They've always been like this, Cameron," she said angrily. "You just haven't been around to see it. I'm sorry you had to find out this way, but maybe it's for the best. You deserve to know the truth." Aunt Maggie's comforting words helped me navigate the emotional turmoil. That night, I made a decision. "I'm cutting them off," I told her firmly, despite the heartache. No more money, no more help. They made their bed. Now they can lie in it. The following days were agonizing. My phone bombarded me with messages and calls from my parents, but I couldn't bear to face their manipulative pleas. After a week of silence, I sent a final text. "I've seen the video. I know what you really think of me. Don't contact me again." The money stops now. Their initial apologies quickly morphed into accusations and guilt trips. Each message deepened the wound, but I remained resolute. I had given them countless chances, only to be betrayed. It was time to break free. Surprisingly, Lily remained neutral. At work, she was the epitome of professionalism. "I'm not taking sides," she stated after a staff meeting. "It's between you and them." I appreciated her neutrality, though a part of me longed for her support. As time passed, I found solace in my weekly video calls with Aunt Maggie, her stories providing a welcome distraction. "You're doing the right thing, Cameron," she'd reassure me. "Don't let them manipulate you anymore." Unexpectedly, other relatives reached out, expressing their support and admiration. Cousin Sarah sent a heartfelt email praising my accomplishments and resilience. Uncle Bob called to commend my character and condemn my parents' behavior. Their words affirmed that I had family beyond my immediate circle, offering a glimmer of hope amidst the pain. The journey was far from over, but I was finally free to build a life based on truth and authenticity, surrounded by those who genuinely valued me. These unexpected messages of support were a balm to my wounded spirit. I realized that while I might have lost my biological parents, I had gained a chosen family who cherished me for who I was. As the year drew to a close, Mr. Reeves summoned me to his office. Nerves gnawed at me, fearing the family drama had impacted my professional standing. Instead, he greeted me with a wide smile. "Cameron," he announced, "I'm retiring next year. I want you to take over as CEO of the restaurant group." Stunned into silence, I could only stammer, "Are you sure?" His eyes twinkled with certainty. "I've never been more sure of anything in my life. You've earned this, Cameron. You're the reason this business has flourished. It's time you took the reins." Leaving his office, my mind reeled with the possibilities. a profound realization dawned on me. The once overlooked and underestimated little girl had blossomed into a woman who had exceeded all expectations, even her own. The pain of betrayal still lingered, but it was overshadowed by a sense of triumph and self-discovery. My journey had been fraught with challenges, but it had ultimately led me to a place of personal and professional fulfillment beyond my wildest dreams. The future held endless possibilities, and I was ready to embrace them. No longer defined by my past, but empowered by my own resilience and the unwavering support of my true family.